Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadhari Jana Vallabha Girivanadhari Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Nana Brajagana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Nandana Brajagana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadhari Jana Vallabha Girivanadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivanadhari Jana Vallabha Girivanadhari Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Nana Brajagana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajagana Ranjana Nana Brajagana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Bhagavacharya Satarya Satashishi Maharaj Divine Grace HD Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Gauda Vaishnavinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Se Koshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gauda Bhaktivinoda Ki ISKCON founder Srila Prabhupada Ki Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shyamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Vrindavan Dham Ki Mayapur Dham Ki Navadvip Dham Ki Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jamuna Mai Ki Ganga Mai Ki Tosti Devi Ki Bhakta Devi Ki Shri Radha Golokananda Ki Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Gora Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktarinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktarinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktarinda. Okay, so continuing our reading from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we're chapter 14, and we're going to start at text 218. This is a conversation primarily between Srivas and Swarup Damodar, talking about the opulence. So it's kind of like a little bit of a debate going on here. And then Lord Chaitanya chimes in every once in a while. So text 218. Swarup Damodar then retorted, my dear Srivas, please hear me with attention. You have forgotten the transcendental opulence of Vrindavan. The natural opulence of Vrindavan is just like an ocean. The opulence of Dwarka and Vaikuntha is not even to be compared to a drop. Sri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, full of all opulences, and his complete opulences are exhibited only in Vrindavan Dham. Vrindavan Dham is made of transcendental touchstone. Its entire surface is a source of all valuable jewels. And the Chintamani stone is used to decorate the lotus feet of the maidservants of Vrindavan. Om Ganda Tamarandasya Gananjana Shilakaya Chaksur Omritamina Tajmai Sri Gurave Namaha. There's that one painting of Radha and Krishna, and Radha's got her head on her shoulders. I'm thinking Prixit painted it from Canada. It's old. You've seen. There's like there's two main ones. Jadharani painted the one of Radha and Krishna separate, and this one Radharani's. And then you consider sand. If you really look at the paint, it's all like little jewels. The whole, So of course, like I think it was Tamal Krishna Goswami. He says like he thinks that's not Radharani when he sees that painting, because submissive. She seems that picture appears more submissive. He probably, painted it, maybe saying it was thinking of Radharani, but I remember hearing a lecture he did, and he thinks it's because of her, that mood. So 222. Vrindavan is a natural forest of desire trees and creepers, and the inhabitants do not want anything but the fruits and flowers of those desire trees. In Vrindavan, there are cows that fulfill all desires, Kamadhenus, and their number is unlimited. They graze from forest to forest and deliver only milk. The people want nothing else. Actually, Mahanidhi Swami talks about two types of Vrindavans. There's like that one that like the opulence. And there's one that's just the dust of Vrindavan, the cow patties, that Krishna being drugged in the mud by the calves. It's kind of a little bit hard for me to conceive, but it's, of course, the spiritual world is unlimited, and we're getting a little bit of glimpse, a little taste of it here. In Vrindavan, the natural speech of people sounds like music, and their natural motion resembles a dance. The water of Vrindavan is nectar, and the Brahma Jyoti effulgence, which is full of transcendental bliss, is directly perceived there in its form. The gopis there are also goddesses of fortune, and they surpass the goddess of fortune who abides in Vaikuntha, in Vrindavan. Lord Krishna is always playing his transcendental flute, which is his dear companion. I've been reading Bhaktivinoda Thakur books, trying to get, I got the last one getting caught up. I had like 20 or 30 of them from Bhanu Swami that have been on back order. And in this book here that I'm reading, Navadvip Parikram Mahatmya, and it's a story, basic, what it is Jiva Goswami's, it's about Vrindavan pastimes, but it's Jiva Goswami. He comes to Navadvip and he meets Nityananda. And then, of course, there's a lot of ecstasies. And he asked Nityananda to give him a parikram, take him around Navadvip and show him everywhere. The first place they go is Mother Sachi's house. And there is Mother Sachi and Ishan, the servant. And there's this Vamsi Anandana is the other servant that assists. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur points out that he is Krishna's flute in Vrindavan. Vamsi means flute. So you mentioned there's a lot of, you're talking about the lecture, new lecture you'll listen to. It seems like there's no end to what we can hear. We don't have enough ears to hear everything when it comes to Vrindavan. I think I've listened to every one of Prabhupada's lectures, but how much of it I've comprehended is probably less than 5% of what he's, it's ever fresh. So that was another instance this week I read that, and it was really okay. But I looked up in the Gaur Dipika, and he wasn't listed in there. So I looked, try to cross-reference it, but Bhaktivinoda mentioned him in that book. Okay, so 226. The gopis there, okay, 227. The damsels of Vrindavan, the gopis, are super goddesses of fortune. The enjoyer in Vrindavan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. The trees there are all wish-fulfilling trees, and the land is made of transcendental touchstone. The water is all nectar. The talking is singing, the walking is dancing, and the constant companion of Krishna is his flute. The effulgence of the transcendental bliss is experienced everywhere. Therefore, Vrindavan Dham is the only relishable abode. Purport, this is a quotation from the Brahma Samhita, chapter 5, text 56. The ankles of the damsels of Rajabhumi are made of Chintamani stone. The trees are wish-fulfilling trees, and they produce flowers with which the gopis decorate themselves. There are also wish-fulfilling cows, kama dhenus, which deliver unlimited quantities of milk. These cows constitute the wealth of Vrindavan. Thus, Vrindavan's opulence is blissfully exhibited. This verse, purport, this verse is by Bilamangala Thakur. It's quoted in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. I've noticed a lot of that lately, that Krishnadas Kaviraj, he included books from, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, other books by Rupa Goswami and Bilamangala Thakur here. They don't see which book it is, but it's Sanskrit. It's written in Sanskrit. Okay. Srivas Thakur then began to dance in ecstatic love. He vibrated sounds of slapping his armpits with the palms of his hands, and he laughed very loudly. Thus, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard these discussions about the pure transcendental mellow of Srimati Radharani, absorbed in transcendental ecstasy. The Lord began to dance. Another thing that Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur pointed out, because we've been reading a lot here about Radharani, conversations that Radharani is having with Krishna. Krishna's Jagannath, Lord Chaitanya is taking the mood of Radharani, and they're communicating with one another, and Swarup Damodar is the only one that can hear that conversation. And so ultimately he, I guess, tells Raghunath Das, he tells Krishnadas Kaviraj, and then we get this information here. But he says we have to be very careful when we're talking about this Parakriya Ras. This is a very spiritual, elevated platform, and with contaminated senses. And we try to understand it or think we understand this. Ultimately, it'll only commit sinful activity, he said. That's all we'll do if we don't. For our senses aren't purified, we can't really understand what the mood of Radharani is, and not much less try to discuss it and explain it any more than the acharyas have. These things are primary for us to increase personal taste and our internal rasa. Externally trying to describe these things as far as giving purports to this type of understanding. Bhaktivinoda Thakur cautions against doing that. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in ecstatic love and Swarup Damodar was singing, the Lord said, "Go on singing, go on singing." The Lord then extended his own ears. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love was awakened by hearing the songs of Vrindavan. In this way, he inundated Purushottama Jagannath Puri with love of Godhead. Finally, the goddess of fortune returned to her apartment. In due course of time, as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, afternoon arrived. After much singing, all 4 Sankirtan parties grew fatigued, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love increased twofold. While dancing, absorbed in Srimati Radharani's ecstatic love, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in her own form. Seeing this from a distant place, Nityananda Prabhu offered prayers. Seeing the ecstatic love of Sri Chaitanya, Nityananda Prabhu did not approach but remained a little distant away. Only Nityananda Prabhu could catch Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the ecstatic mood of the Lord would not stop. At that time, kirtan could not be continued. Swarup Damodar then informed the Lord that all the devotees were fatigued. Seeing this situation, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to his external senses. I have been watching some YouTube videos of Shivaram Swami's Vyas Puj, and there's about 4 or 5 videos. And the kirtans, pretty much all day celebration, but the kirtans are like an hour and a half, 2 hours, sometimes 2.5 hours. There's just all day, from the morning greeting the deities till it got dark. Of course, there they don't have electricity. You can tell when it gets dark. They have, they have generator and solar, but. Well, they might have since I've been there. They didn't have electricity when I was there, other than natural. But they were just kirtan, and kirtan. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then entered the flower garden with all his devotees. After residing there for some time, he took his afternoon bath. Then there arrived in large quantities a variety of food that had been offered to Sri Jagannath, and a variety that had been offered to the goddess of fortune. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finished his afternoon lunch, and after his evening bath, he went to see Lord Jagannath. As soon as he saw Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to chant and dance. Afterward, accompanied by his devotees, the Lord enjoyed sporting in the lake called Narendra Sarovya. Then, entering the flower garden, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his meal. In this way, he continuously performed all kinds of pastimes for 8 days. The next day, Lord Jagannath came out of the temple and, riding on the cart, returned to his own abode. As previously, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees chanted and danced with great pleasure. During the Pandu Vijaya, Lord Jagannath was carried. And while he was being carried, a bunch of silken ropes broke. When Jagannath deity is carried at intervals, he is placed on cotton pads. When the ropes broke, the cotton pads also broke due to the weight of Lord Jagannath, and the cotton floated into the air. Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan were present from Kuliagram, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with great respect, gave them the following orders. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan to become the worshippers of these ropes, and every year bring silken ropes from their village. Purport. It is understood that silken rope was being manufactured by the local inhabitants of Kuliagram. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan to get ropes every year for Lord Jagannath's service. So this is Balaram worshiping the paraphernalia of Krishna. Lord Balaram expands himself in all this paraphernalia so that you could see it in that way in its relationship to Krishna. 250. After telling them this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed them the broken silken rope, saying, just look at this sample. You must make ropes that are much stronger. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then informed Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan that this rope was the abode of Lord Sesha, who expands himself into 10 forms and serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For a description of Seshanaga, refer to Adilita, chapter 5, text 123 and 124. After receiving orders from the Lord for rendering of service, the fortunate Satyaraj and Ramananda Vas were highly pleased. Every year thereafter, when the Goloka temple was being cleansed, Satyaraj and Ramananda Vasu would come with the other devotees and with great pleasure bring silken ropes. Thus Lord Jagannath returned to his temple and sat on his throne, while Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his residence with his devotees. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed the Rath Yatra ceremony to his devotees and performed the Vrindavan pastimes with them. The pastimes of Sri Chaitanya are unlimited and endless. Even Sahasra Vandana, Lord Shesha, cannot reach the limits of his pastimes. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa, Sri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, Krishnadas narrates Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita following in their footsteps. This is the third year of Lord Chaitanya's taking sannyas. He takes sannyas and he goes to a South Indian tour. That takes almost 2 years. He comes back and he wants to go to Vrindavan immediately. So this description here is that third year when all the devotees came, they had the Rath Yatra. But for 2 years they kept playing tricks on Lord Chaitanya and wouldn't let him, try to keep him there. Even King Prataruja said, just figure out a way to keep the Lord from leaving. He's been gone for 2 years, that they're so attached. So we'll read, finally in the 5th year they come, of course they also asked Nityananda to go back to Navadvip. But then on that 5th year when they finally relinquished, even that year he sends the devotees back. There was one attempt that was unsuccessful. But then finally, in his 5th year, then his 6th year, he comes back and he doesn't leave Jagannath. So he travels for 6 years, and then the next 18 years he remains in Jagannath Puri. Chapter 15, the Lord accepts prasadam at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. The following summary of this chapter is given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his Amrita Prabhava Abhashya. After the Rath Yatra festival, Sri Advaita Acharya Prabhu worshipped Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with flowers and tulsi. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then returned, worshiped Advaita Acharya with flowers and tulsi that remained on the offered plate, and said a mantra, Yoshi so shi namo sute. Whatever you are, but I offer my respects unto you. Then Advaita Acharya Prabhu invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for prasadam. When Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees performed the Nandosa ceremony, the Lord addressed himself as a cowherd boy. Thus the ceremony was very jubilant. Then the Lord and the devotees observed Vijaya Dasmi, the day of victory when Lord Ramchandra conquered Lanka. The devotees all became soldiers of Lord Ramchandra, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his ecstasy of Hanuman, manifested various transcendental, blissful activities. Thereafter, the Lord and his devotees observed various ceremonies. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then asked all the devotees to return to Bengal. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Nityananda Prabhu to Bengal for preaching, and also sent Ramdas, Gadadhar Das, and several other devotees with him. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with great humility, sent some Jagannath Prasad and cloth from Lord Jagannath to his mother through Shivas Thakur. Then the Lord bade farewell for Raghunath Pandit, Vasudev Dutt, and the residents of Kuliagram, and the other devotees. He praised them for their transcendental qualities. Ramananda Vasu and Satyaraj Khan asked some questions, and Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed them that all householder devotees must engage themselves in the service of Vaishnavas, exclusively devoted to chanting the holy name of the Lord. He also instructed the Vaishnavas from Khanda, as well as Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Vidya Vikaspati. And he praised Murari Gupta for his firm faith in the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra. Considering the humble prayer of Vasudev Dutt, he established that Lord Sri Krishna is qualified to deliver all conditioned souls. Thereafter, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was accepting prasadam at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Sarvabhauma's son-in-law, Amoga, created trouble in the family with his criticisms. The following morning, he was attacked by the disease of Visukta, cholera. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very kindly saved him from death and enlivened him in chanting the holy name of Krishna. And we discussed before, even in the association of Lord Chaitanya, we see that Maya can affect certain individuals. Intelligence can be lost. And also these questions that they question him is about who is a Vaishnava. So we're going to read, and there's three times that Lord Chaitanya, one who chants Hare Krishna, one who you see him, you think about Krishna. So he gives these instructions. Text number 1. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was taking prasadam at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Amoga criticized him. Still, the Lord accepted Amoga, thereby showing him how much he was obliged to his devotees. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. All glories to Advaita Acharya. All glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. All glories to the listeners of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, who have accepted it as their life and soul. So, Krishnadas Gaj, he's given everybody mercy and benediction. While Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Jagannath Puri, he constantly enjoyed chanting and dancing with his devotees. In the beginning of the day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the deity of Lord Jagannath in the temple. He offered him obeisances and prayers and danced and sang before him. After visiting the temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would remain outside during the Upala Bhoga offering. He would then go meet Haridas Thakur and return to his residence. At noon, when there was an Upala Bhoga offering, this is purport, I'm sorry. At noon, when there was an Upala Bhoga offering in a place called Bhoga Vardhana Kanda, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go outside the temple. Before going outside, he used to stand near the Garuda Stamba column and offer his obeisances and prayers. Afterwards, the Lord would visit Siddha Bakula, where Haridas Thakur lived. After visiting with Haridas Thakur, the Lord would return to his own place at the abode of Kashi Mishra. Sitting in his room, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant on his beads, and Advaitacharya would come there to worship the Lord. While worshiping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaitacharya would offer him scented water to wash his mouth and feet. Then Advaitacharya would smear very fragrant sandalwood pulp all over his body. Sri Advaita Prabhu would also place a flower garland around the Lord's neck and tulsi flowers, manjaris, on his head. Then with folded hands, Advaitacharya would offer obeisances and prayers unto the Lord. After being worshipped by Advaitacharya, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would take the dish containing the flowers and tulsi, and with whatever paraphernalia remained, worship Advaitacharya. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would worship Advaitacharya by chanting the mantra, "Whatever you are, but I offer respects unto you." In addition, the Lord would make some sounds with his mouth and would make Advaitacharya laugh. In this way, Advaitacharya and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would offer their respectful obeisances unto each other. Then Advaitacharya would extend an invitation to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again and again. And indeed, Sri Advaitacharya's invitation is another wonderful story. It is very vividly described by Vrindavan Das Thakur. Since Advaitacharya's invitation has been described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, I shall not repeat the story, but I shall say that other devotees also extend invitations to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So basically that story is Advaitacharya wanted to invite Lord Chaitanya for lunch. But he didn't want anybody else to come. He just wanted Lord Chaitanya. But Lord Chaitanya has his associates and all his, a lot of sannyasis. And we're going to read here how Sarvabhauma wants Lord Chaitanya to come just like every day for a month. But so in his mood, it just so happened that day there was like a thunderstorm. And Lord Chaitanya was the only one who was able to make it to Advaitacharya's residence. So in this way, he was able to offer him. He wanted to be able to just feed Lord Chaitanya huge quantities of prasadam. But if Lord Chaitanya was in the crowd, then he would feel reluctant to take this prasadam. So that's kind of paraphrasing that story from Vrindavan Das Thakur. Day after day, one devotee after another would invite Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the other devotees to lunch and would also hold a festival. All the devotees remained at Jagannath Puri for 4 continuous months, and they observed Lord Jagannath's festival with great pleasure. That 5th year, Lord Chaitanya cut it short. Instead of 4 months, he sent them all, because he was going to India. I mean, he's going to Vrindavan. But so he tells them, I'm going to come to Navadvip. I'm going to Vrindavan. So like, if you're there, I'll see you. If you're not there, so that kind of gave the impetus for them to leave, because they definitely wanted to stay. The devotees celebrated the festival of Janmashtami, Krishna's birthday, which is also called Nanda Mahotsava, the festival of Nanda Maharaj. At that time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees dressed themselves as cowherd boys. Having dressed up like cowherd boys, all the devotees carried pots of milk and yogurt balanced on rods over their shoulders. Thus they all arrived at the festival grounds chanting the holy name of Hari. Kanani Kutia dressed himself like Nanda Maharaj. Jagannath Mahati dressed himself as Madhya Yasoda. At that time, King Pataparuja was also personally present as Kashi Mishra, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Tulsi Parichapatra was there with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Tulsi Parichapatra. Gopati Patra. As usual, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced jubilantly. Everyone was covered with milk, yogurt, and yellow turmeric water. At this time, Srila Vetacharya said, "Please do not be angry. I speak the truth. I shall know that you are a cowherd boy only if you can wheel this rod about." So it is transcendental testing of Lord Chaitanya. Accepting Advaitacharya's challenge, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a big rod and began to wheel it around and around. Again and again, he threw the rod in the sky and caught it as it fell. There's a nice description of this in when they're celebrating Govardhan Puj. It's Jiva Goswami's book. I just now can't think of it, about Krishna's pastimes. It's a pretty extensive talk about. Sorry? Yes, Gopal Champu. Thank you. And so, a description of Krishna as they're dancing around Govardhan. They had this huge festival, this huge description of the festival. And it's like he was like a majorette. He's marching down the path, around Govardhan, and he's throwing his stick up in the air and catching it and doing all kinds of tricks with it. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wheeled and threw the rod sometimes over his head, sometimes behind his back, sometimes in front of him, and sometimes to his side, and sometimes between his legs. All the people laughed to see this. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu whirled the rod in a circle like a firebrand. The heart of everyone who saw it was astonished. Nityananda Prabhu also played at whirling the rod. Who could understand how they were ecstatically immersed in the deep emotions of the cowherd boys? Following the orders of Maharaj Prataparudra, the temple superintendent, named Tulasi, brought one of Lord Jagannath's used cloths. The valuable cloth was wrapped around the head of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The other devotees, headed by Advaitacharya, also had cloths wrapped about their heads. In ecstasy, Kanani Kutia, who was dressed as Nanda Maharaj, and Jagannath Mishra, who was dressed as Madhya Yasoda, distributed all the riches they had stocked at home. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was greatly satisfied to see this. Accepting them as his father and mother, he offered them obeisances. In great ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned to his residence. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, known as Gauranga Sundara, performed various pastimes. On the day celebrating the conquest of Lanka, a day known as Vijaya Dashmi, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dressed up all the devotees as monkey soldiers. Displaying the emotions of Hanuman, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a large tree branch and mounted the walls of Lanka fort, began to dismantle it. In the ecstasy of Hanuman, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu angrily said, "Where is that rascal Ravana? He has kidnapped the universal mother Sita. Now I shall kill him and all his family." Everyone became very much astonished to see the emotional ecstasy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And everyone began to chant, all glories, again and again. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees participated in all the festivals, including Rasa Yatra, Deepavali, and Uttana Devasati. Purport. The Deepavali festival takes place on the dark moon night of the month of Kartik, October-November. The Rasa Yatra, or Rasa dancing, of Krishna takes place on the full moon, the night of the same month. Uttana Devasati takes place the day after Ekadasi, in the waxing fortnight of the moon of the same month. All of the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu participated in all of these festivals. 37. One day, the two brothers, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, consulted with each other while sitting together in a solitary place. No one could understand what the brothers discussed between themselves, but later all the devotees could guess what the subject matter was. Thereafter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu called for all the devotees and asked them to return to Bengal. In this way, he bade farewell to them. Bidding farewell to all the devotees, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested them to return to Jagannath Puri every year to see him, and then see the cleansing of the Gandhika temple. With great respect, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested Advaitacharya, give Krishna conscious devotion to Krishna, even to the lowest men, chandalas. Purport. Okay. This Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order to all devotees. Krishna Bhakti, devotion to Krishna, is open to everyone, even low-class men like chandalas. One should follow this order in the disciplic succession stemming from Sri Advaita and Nityananda and distribute Krishna consciousness without discrimination throughout the world. There are different kinds of men, beginning with Brahmins and going down to the lowest platform known as Chandala. Whatever one's position, everyone in the age of Kali needs to be enlightened in Krishna consciousness. That is the greatest need of the day. Everyone is acutely feeling the pains of material existence. Even in the ranks and files of the American Senate, the pinpricks of material existence are felt. So much so that April 30th, 1974, was actually set aside as Prayer Day. Thus, everyone is feeling the result of pinpricks of Kali Yuga brought about by human societies indulging in illicit sex, meat eating, gambling, and intoxication. Now is the time for the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness to distribute Krishna Bhakti all over the world and thus follow the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord has ordered everyone to become a guru. Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 7, text 128. Amara Anjaya Guru Hana Tara E Desa. Everyone in every town and village should be enlightened by the instructions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna consciousness should be distributed to everyone indiscriminately. In this way, the entire world will be peaceful and happy, and everyone will glorify Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he desires. The word Chandala actually refers to a dog-eater, who is considered the lowest of men. Even Chandalas can be enlightened in Krishna consciousness due to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's benedictions. Krishna Bhakti is not the monopoly of a certain caste. Everyone is eligible to receive this benediction given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Everyone should be given a chance to receive it and be happy. The word dana, meaning charity, is also significant in this verse. Whoever engages in the distribution of Krishna consciousness is a charitable person. Professional men recite Srimad Bhagavatam and discuss Krishna Bhakti for an exchange of money. They cannot distribute such exalted transcendental property to everyone and anyone. Only pure devotees who have no other motive other than serving Krishna can give such transcendental, valuable benedictions out of charity. I think we'll stop right there. That's pretty good purport. The order is given. I think it's pretty clear. The order of Lord Chaitanya and the order of Prabhupada. Distribute. We receive so much in this process. It's only right that we try to somehow give it back. Yeah. Yeah. And that what? I'm sorry? Everybody's included. Nobody's discriminate. Nobody. Everybody's. Muslims have the right to hear it. Is that what you asked? Why? What about Muslims? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, how do you talk to a Muslim person? It's hard. How do you talk to a Christian person? There are all varieties of Christians, all varieties of Muslims. Sometimes it's like walking into a wall. You do what you can, but sometimes you got to discriminate a little bit about how you approach somebody. Not everybody. Devotees also discriminate. The envious people, you got to avoid them. You know, that's one of the symptoms of a majjhimam.
Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Driya Priti Manti Vasyan Dipan Dikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham
Bhajami Namaham Vishnu Vadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutanai Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Saminiti Domine Namaste Saraswati Devi Purvani Pachar Visesha Shunyavade Paschatyanis Saturday. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Sari Gaurabhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Gadadhara Siva Sari Gaurabhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Sari Gaurabhakta Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Siva Sari Gaurabhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Siva Sari Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Agalokinana Radha, Agalokinana Dragate. Radha Golokinana Radha, Agalokinana Dragate. Jaya Radha, Jaya Radhe, Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Sri Radhe, Jai Om Vishnu Paramahansa.
Jai.
Acharya. Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shidway, the Gadadha, Shiva Singol, Bhakti. Nani Nanu Raga, Roriva Sahishnuna, Amanina Manajena, Kirtaniya Sadahari, Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim, Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamaye, Mama Janmani Janmanishvare Bhavatad Bhakti Ardhai Chaki Twaye Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishabe Bhavam Buddho Kripaya Tava Pada Pankatyas Dita Duli Sadrasam Vichintaya Nayanam Galuda Shrut Hareya Padanam Gadgada Rudya Gira Ulaka Nichatam Bapukara Tava Namagrahane Bhavishyati Jugai Tam Nimishena Chakshusha Purvashayatam Shunyayatam Jagat Sarvam Govinda Vidahena Me Asli Shiva Padapana Padashtamam Adarshanam Marmatam Karotava Yata Dada Bhavadadatu Lampato Mat Prananatas Tuseva Naparaha. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon, is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. I know no one but Krishna is my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. Shikshastika ki jai. These look very